Hey folks, Aaron here from Arkto Campers. And in this video, what we're going to do is go through the de-winterizing or prepping your trailer for the spring and summer months coming up. So we'll go through a couple steps related to getting your batteries hooked up and getting your electrical system ready to go, removing the antifreeze or pumping out the antifreeze from your water system and getting that ready, and then talking about general maintenance stuff like checking the sealant and caulking around the trailer, the timber suspension, lubrication, the wheel hubs, as well as the max coupler at the front. So why don't we head inside and get started with the battery system. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is deal with the batteries. In this particular trailer, we have the lights on and everything hooked up already so that we can be visible in here while we're filming. But go ahead and remove the lid to the battery box, get the hose put away. And if you stored your batteries in the basement of your home or outside of the trailer, you can go and install those batteries now, get them strapped down and nice and secure. Hopefully you had taken some photos in the winter time when you winterized the trailer of the configuration of the cabling and as they hooked up to your batteries. In this case, we have 2 batteries in here. Obviously, you might have like 3 or 4 or whatever your setup is, but making sure you're double checking with your documentation and any labels you may have had on your cables. So hook those cables back up to the batteries in the same fashion you had them, starting with the negatives you're going to hook up first, and then you can go ahead and hook up the positives, making sure not to over tighten these bolts. Should just be hand tight. We don't want to damage the battery side of those bolts. Once those are all hooked up, you can open up the circuit breakers that you would have had closed already, and there you go. You're probably going to hear some beeping and things getting set up. You can just leave this off for now just in case, but we can then go ahead over to the display and get things set up on that side of things before we move on outside. So unfortunately, since we have everything hooked up here, it's a different display than what you're going to be seeing. If you have the REDARC system, you will be seeing that it wants to set up the time and the batteries for your system. So go ahead and follow the steps on there and making sure that you're set up for either your lead acid batteries or lithium iron phosphate, like LifePo will be listed on there. You toggle to the right to select that. And then downwards, just again, confirming the battery capacity. So in this case, we have well, there's 2 105 amp hour batteries in here, so you're going to set it to 210 amp hours, and then everything else should be standardized and you can follow through. And then it's going to get you to set the date and time, and go ahead and set that, and that should be it. If you have any questions related to that, feel free to reach out to us, of course, but you'll be getting this screen after the fact. So it's going to take up to about 24 hours for the REDARC system to calibrate the batteries. It's really just learning how much capacity is remaining in there. And then it'll basically just doing that on its own. But of course, we recommend that you're plugging into shore power now. So after the batteries are hooked up, go ahead and plug in your shore power. It'll remain calibrating and charging your batteries simultaneously. So that should take care of your electrical system. Everything should be functioning now. If you did put it in storage mode, it's possible you have the lock icons going on here. Again, you can go through the menu here to take it out of the storage mode and into touring mode. Otherwise, if you didn't go that far, it's, as we all know, it's the double tap for putting on the, well, it's like master kill switch or putting on the storage mode. So that should do it for the electrical system. As I just said, reach out if you have any questions related to that, and we'll be happy to walk you through the steps. All right, so we're here at the Truma cabinet now on the trailer. This is actually a customer unit, so hence the dirt and stuff that came out of storage, but we're de-winterizing or putting it in summer mode for the customer. And so for the first steps with the water system is you're going to go ahead and fill your fresh water tank. You might as well go ahead and fill it full just because we're going to do a lot of flushing to get that antifreeze out of there. So step 1 is going to be rotating that valve that is right beside the water pump. That was one of the first steps when we winterized it. So you can reach in this way, grab the valve, and turn it so that the valve is actually pointing towards the water pump. And that way you know you have it in the correct direction. After that's done, basically what that valve does is it now pulls the water out of the fresh water tank versus from that antifreeze pickup line that we used in the winter. So now that that's done, we can actually hook up your shower head. So here we have a shower head ready to go, and get yourself a bucket. So you're going to be doing a whole lot of flushing. If you're on your driveway, RV antifreeze is actually okay for the environment. So if you needed to put it down the storm drain, that's not like a real huge deal. You want to make sure, not that your dog's drinking it up or anything like that. You got to be careful about that. But anyhow, you can get your shower and a bucket. And then what we're going to do is hook that up and get the sink spigot going, the faucet going, turn on the water pump, and we're just going to flush. We're just going to run water through both lines, hot and cold, and until we believe that all the antifreeze is out of the system. We'll show you a couple little tricks here and there about how you know that that's done. Mainly, you'll see in the sink, it'll actually be like frothing almost when it comes out and hits the bottom of the stainless steel. Once that frothing is all done, or the bubbling, you know that it's really just fresh water coming out. And then at that point in time, you can give it a little taste and make sure you're not getting any residue of that antifreeze. It's food safe, so you don't have to be worrying about it getting in your mouth a little bit. So yeah, why don't we go ahead and process those steps, and we'll get right back to you. Okay, so first up, we're going to step up to the shower here, get your shower head hooked up, and we can just go ahead and open up the lines, and yeah, I mean, just run it full blast, get all the antifreeze out of there. It's already turning out pretty clear. And you can switch between the sink and the shower. So while we go over to the sink, I'll shut this off, and then we can make our way over to the sink and get some of those lines out too. So we have a bucket hooked up with a drain over there, and this will start spattering air everywhere too, so heads up on that. And you can already see in the sink here how clear it's already beginning to be. No more pink. And then we can just keep that going for some time. I mean, just empty the water tank, fill it again, do it as many times as you feel comfortable doing until you're not getting that flavor anymore. It's actually already almost gone. So yeah, continue down the line with that. And then once you've completed rinsing stuff, you're going to make your way over to the valves again, and we're going to turn a couple more valves. So let's head over there. Okay, so now that you've rinsed out the kitchen faucet and the shower end and tasted the water, and you're confident that there was no more antifreeze within the lines, your next step is going to be moving over to the Truma, and you're going to have two valves to rotate. So the first one, doesn't really matter what order, but if you turn this first one here, you're going to want to make sure it's pointing to the right or rearward on the trailer. And then the next one is just here. There's a light to show, and you're going to want to turn that, yes, rearward. So that is now pointing towards the Truma or rearward as well, and you heard the water pump just turn on. Do not fear that. That is actually now the water pump pumping water to fill the Truma. And so this is what we were trying to avoid when we did the first valve on its own, is that we don't want to introduce antifreeze inside the Truma, inside the hot water tank. So when we flushed it all, we removed all the antifreeze first, and then now all we're doing is just bringing in fresh water into the hot water tank. So once those steps are completed, you're pretty much good to go. You can refill with fresh water again if you need to, if you're heading out on a trip right away. Go ahead and retest and reflush a whole tank if you want again, just to have that peace of mind. But otherwise, the water system is good to go. All right, so after your water system's all done, now is the sort of little more, let's call it maintenance stuff to do. So there's a couple things we recommend doing, one of which, first and the easiest, is to lubricate the drawer slides on the kitchen and the fridge slide. You can even go ahead and do the hinges on the access panel doors and the entry door as well. Even the joins on the scissor lifts, any moving parts really. Just sitting over winter, maybe dust and debris got in there. Heck, even through summer that went in there. And now we want to lubricate that up so it's ready to go for the season. A lubricant we found, not to do like a product promo or anything, but this is like a pretty high-end stuff. This is Bow Shield T9. It's, I believe it came mostly from, well, it's used mostly right now in the cycling industry. But it came, well, just as the name suggests, from Boeing, using an airplane. So we found this to be quite good. So you can find this on Amazon, by the way. And you can just lubricate the tracks where the ball bearings are going to be sliding. So on the top side and bottom of both the larger piece and the smaller piece. And then you can also actually get between any of these moving parts. So you see these sliding plates here. There's also some on the right side as well over here. Just get some lubricant behind those on both sides of the kitchen. And then, of course, moving over to the fridge and taking care of there, you'll notice a big difference. All right, so now on to more mechanical stuff. I'm not going to really go into details. I'm not a heavy-duty mechanic or a mechanic for that matter, so I don't really want to recommend exactly how to go about doing this. There are plenty of videos online for mechanics that do show the steps on how to do this, and what that's for is re-greasing your hubs on your axle or the spindles or the hub or whatever you want to call it, but re-greasing those as well as re-greasing the timber and axle suspension on here. So there are videos about the steps on doing that, but real quickly, you have a rubber dust cap on the front of the hub here, and you basically remove that, and behind there is a Zerk fitting. So a grease gun will be hooked up. You really just pump away and replace the grease. That's the Coles Notes version of it. Same idea with the timber and axle suspension. There's a control arm hanging down at this angle, and then of course on the other side as well. And up underneath the center of that, you're going to see a hole laser cut out of the bottom of the control arm on the suspension. And up inside there is another Zerk fitting. So if you look inside, you'll see it. You can hook the grease gun up there and basically pump away until all the old grease comes out and the new stuff follows behind it. Once the new stuff comes out, you know that you greased it sufficiently. Wipe up all the excess, wipe up the excess here, of course. One recommendation for these steps, and again, these videos will talk about it, is just go nice and slow. Don't try and force really quickly the grease in there. There are rubber seals involved here, and you don't want to blow those seals out. That'll just cause a lot of issues. So just nice and slow. It's about 20 to 30 pumps for a wheel bearing, as an example. So there's those 2 items. And again, just hop on YouTube and get some detailed videos on those steps. And then the last grease fitting you're going to want to take care of is the coupler. So you're going to want to do both the yoke or the coupler on the tow vehicle side as well as the trailer side, both of which have a Zerk fitting on them. You'll see it also on the tow vehicle side. And what you want to do is, hook up your grease gun and again, pump gently, and you should see grease come out from the joint. And we just finished this one up, but you'll see grease coming out of here. If you do not see grease coming out, there could be an issue. You're going to want to actually remove the coupler out of there and check the back to make sure that the foam fitting in the back, there's like a little plug in the back, making sure that that didn't push out. So if not, continue to pump grease in here while spinning this around. Same with the tow vehicle, you're going to rotate and spin that around just to get the lubrication through the system, and continue pumping until the new grease comes through. And then go ahead and clean up all the excess grease. It's going to be everywhere. But yeah, you can use like brake cleaner or solvent to help clean things up with a lot of paper towels. So that is the last of the Zerk fittings with the grease gun. Something I didn't mention earlier is also again, those moving parts, one of which is actually the pins behind the corner stabilizers. So the moving pins, when you pull on the handle, you can lubricate those as well. You'll notice a big difference in the use of those corner stabilizers after you've done that. And last but not least, go around the trailer and check all the sealant and caulking. If the trailer was parked outside, that the sun is nasty, it will start deteriorating things, including your wrap, unfortunately, but that's what the sun does. And so you can check all the caulking and sealant around the perimeter of the trailer, including with the roof closed, getting on a ladder and making sure the sealant and the tape up top is all taken care of as well. So go ahead and look through that. If you're finding any openings or cracks or anything like that, reach out to us. We can send you out a tube of the new caulking and just making sure that that's taken care of for you. So there you go. That's the gist of the steps for de-winterizing your trailer and getting it set up for summer. If you have any questions, as usual, reach out to us at admin@arktocampers.com or on social media @Arkto Campers. Have a great day.